Hi, this is Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy. Now here's what we're going to talk about. You've probably seen by now, I'm pretty quick to read comments and make videos that address these issues. Not in any way to defend myself or argue or anything like that, because all that stuff's very immature if I was just a matter of feeling insecure and having to defend where I believe. But what I do think is important, and really what this whole series is about, is it's about a journey of a guy, me, that's slowly losing his hair like most men are. And I'm kind of serving as your host as far as this journey goes. So I've had some people recently say, it seems like he changes his mind a lot. So let's address that. I think that's a fair assessment when it comes to hair. And I've said in other videos that my whole life it's been hard to commit to any haircut, because when I finally get one that I really like, then I change it and I go extreme the other way. So let's kind of go back a couple months when I did have a #1 all over, and I remember saying it in the camera more than once, I'm so happy, this is perfect, I'm carefree, I don't have to worry about fixing my hair, getting messed up, the wind blowing and any of that. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt very liberated, I felt very free. So what I had done is I learned to embrace a receding hairline and just buzzing it off. I embraced that and I learned to do that. It's getting a little bit windy, so you know what happens when it gets too windy. I'm gonna hide in this pine tree where there was that mysterious rubber glove last time. At least just, and then you remember yesterday I saw that groundhog. The rubber glove's still there, but I'm not gonna move it. All right, so as this is, I'm gonna creep you at all. Okay, so here's the deal. I made a few notes on a sticky note here that I think it's important for me to go over. So like I said, it is a journey for all of us, and it's a matter of, I'd even say a couple of months ago when I was buzzing it off, which I still endorse. I still endorse anyone who wants to buzz their hair off because they want to embrace their receding hairline. Do it. You'll love it. It's very liberating. I'm all for it. But at that time, that's all I was able to embrace when it came to my receding hairline. And that's the point I want to make today. That now I am able to embrace having a receding hairline and hair. Whereas before I could only embrace a receding hairline and buzzing it off. So does that make a difference how I've not changed my mind as much as I've built on that foundation? The foundation being accepting my receding hairline. So before I could just have a buzz cut, now I've added to the foundation, and now I can accept having a receding hairline with hair. And yes, it will look better in about a month once it's a little bit longer. So I'm not totally at my goal yet. But I think it's very important to realize that it's not a contradiction. It's addition. It's a journey that I'm going through. I hope that clears that up and makes a little bit more sense. Do I change my mind? Sure. But is it really going back on what I said before? Is it negating that? I don't believe so. I believe it builds on top of it. Okay, let me look through my notes to see what else I need to go over here on this. I think another thing that I really just kind of need to point out is that I can be content either way, and I'm learning that. I thought before I could only be content with the shaved head. Now I realize, no, I'm happy like this too. I'm not insecure about it. And it gives me even more security to know that I can always go back to buzzing it off whenever I want to. Right now I just don't want to, I just don't feel like it. So that's okay. And then closing thought, that as men, we are wired to be pretty black and white, cut and dry about issues, hot and cold. It's either this way or it's the other way. And what I don't want to happen to you as the viewer is to think that if you have a receding hairline, you might as well just shave it off, because that's the only way to be happy, and it's the only way to deny being in denial. Because I've talked before about not being in denial when it comes to your hairline. Well, here's what I want to clarify. That just because you have a receding hairline and you have hair, it doesn't mean you're in denial. I'm not in denial. I embrace having a receding hairline. I'm not trying to hide it. At the same time, I'm trying to work with what I've got, which means because it does come up here, it is going to lay over the receding hairline part. I don't consider that to be a comb over. It's just my hairline. So I'm not trying to hide anything. I feel like I'm fully embracing it. So I felt it was very important that I tell everybody these things today. I hope that makes sense. Am I wishy-washy? Am I flip-flop? I don't think so. If I went and negated everything I ever said, that'd be one thing. But so think of it this way. My sticky note blew away in the wind. Can I get that? No, there's sticks, pine cones. Okay, so I got it. All right, so what I wanted to say was, it's a journey for you, it's a journey for me, it's a journey for all of us. am I faltering on what I believe? No, I'm adding to it. And please don't subscribe to the extreme mentality that you must buzz your hair off, and that that's the only way you can be liberated. That's the only way you can be confident. I'm fully confident with a receding hairline with hair. I'm fully confident with it buzzed off. I'll tell you what I'm not fully confident with is when it's in that awkward transition about a month after. It just doesn't look good at all, but I think it looks pretty decent now. And when I want to, I'll buzz it off again. So I appreciate the comments. You keep leaving comments, and I'm gonna keep addressing the issues. Remember, I'm not arguing with you. My feelings aren't hurt or anything like that. I think it's important that we flesh out all of this, because remember, without me, who else would talk to you about this? Who else would you have in your life that knows where you're coming from and is emotionally intelligent about it and knows what they're talking about? You don't have anybody else. You have me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching my videos. You know, it's one thing that you can think about this in your own mind, but it's always good to have somebody else who's there on the other side with you. I'm with you. I'm not against you. I'm not some other random dude. I'm totally experiencing this with you on all of this. So I appreciate those comments. Please know you haven't offended me, and I'm not here to offend anybody else. I'm not here to argue. We're having a conversation, hopefully a mature one, unlike a lot of immature people online who have to bash each other and call each other idiots and all that. No, not at all. Let's just be reasonable about it. And if you think I'm a hypocrite, so be it. I don't think I'm a hypocrite. I don't think that I'm faltering on what I believe. So that's why I made that video about that yesterday. So anyway, hey, thanks for joining me on this. Thanks for this form of entertainment and enlightenment that we have. As for now, I'm going to attempt to get out of this pine tree. I guess we'll talk more tomorrow. You leave more comments so we know what else we need to discuss. Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy.